Canberra's convoy of no confidence failed to live up to its hype today.
The convoy of no consequence outside. The convoy of no consequence, Mr. Speaker.
Whoever is saying it's a flop, it's not. All right?
There are a couple of hundred people gathered.
There are thousands and thousands of people who've been denied the ability to be here today.
I didn't anticipate that there would be a conspiracy to stop people attending this rally.
These people now have been told they can't come in.
There are hundreds of you here. There are thousands of you who would like to be here.
And now a convoy, which I understand is 2 kilometres long, has been stopped at the border between the New South Wales and the ACT.
And there are millions of you who are sick of being ripped off by a bad government.
Police haven't stopped anyone on the borders or on the highways.
They can't get in here.
No matter how many barriers were put in the way, you've got here.
Keep them doggies moving.
This is the most disgraceful thing that has ever been done to democracy.
And to Alan Jones, I'm going to say this. Your voice is the most important one in this land.
Let them in. Let them in. Let them in.
Move them on. Hit them up. Hit them up. Move them on. Move them on. Hit them up. Rawhide.
Are you fired up? Are you fired up enough?
Keep moving, moving, moving. Though they're disapproving.
A lot of the anger suddenly turned on the media as well.
The journalist from Sky Channel, David, where is he?
Alan wasn't happy at my quote of ACT police.
Well, come on over here and explain yourself.
They told me it's nonsense, it's not happening.
You haven't spoken. I have spoken to this man here.
I've spoken to him.
You told the people there was no blockade.
He, sort of said, are you accusing me of lying?
There's a chap up there who hasn't been reporting the truth.
I said, I'm just reporting.
Don't try to understand them. Just rope, throw and brandle.
I've just been asked by a journalist from the Sydney Morning Herald, am I getting a fee for being here today?
He took great exception to that question and he became enraged and proceeded to abuse me.
How can you look at yourself in the mirror?
More jobs which will go. In that environment...
Where is she? Oh, she's gone. Disappeared.
I felt very intimidated. Yeah, I suppose I did feel at risk.
We just ask that the truth of the story be presented, that's all.
The lead driver of the trucks involved later told Sky reporter David Lipson police had merely pulled them over to explain arrangements.
How long were you held at the border for?
Probably would have been a couple of 3 minutes, I suppose.
To quote the man behind the convoy, Mick Patel, I think Alan might have been misled.
The picture that the nation is being given today is utterly inaccurate.
You'd have to agree with that. How many paws from Nancy for that performance?
Yeah, it wasn't Alan Jones's finest hour. But I think we have to be careful not to laugh at people who go to Canberra to protest because they're not particularly well educated or they don't talk as well as we do.
That's not why we laughed at them at this occasion.
I'm not saying that, but most people who are driving trucks can't afford to go to Canberra. I think it's pretty silly to put these functions on because most people aren't going to turn up because they can't get there.
That was really about Alan Jones. That was vowing at the moon stuff, wasn't it?
The rally got, beholden by this whole theory about the thousands of imaginary friends who got held up at the fictitious border that doesn't actually exist.
Well, it's more than that because Anthony Albanese, I think, is a very good minister, but he called it a convoy of no consequence. Kelvin Thompson called it a convoy of incontinence. I mean, these are pretty rude attacks on what are basic Australians who are going down to Canberra and don't look all that presentable. As to Alan Jones, he just went right over the top, and you shouldn't get into hyperbole on these matters, and he ought to correct it.
He thought Alan Jones did think it was about him, though, and. Interesting just watching Andrew Wilkie again because he thinks the government's about him. Alan Jones thinks the government should be his. We are having a bit of a crack up at the moment, aren't we, Barry? As a country.
Too much red